sustainable energy solutions, a single revolutionary invention has emerged that challenges the very foundation of conventional science and the status quo of the energy and automotive industries. It stands not merely as a product of innovation, but as a bold confrontation of entrenched beliefs and long-standing limitations. Maxwell Chikumbutso, a visionary inventor and entrepreneur hailing from Zimbabwe, has spent over a decade navigating a storm of rejection, skepticism, and systemic suppression. For years, he operated at the fringes of mainstream science, continuously ridiculed by experts and marginalized by industries fearful of disruption. Yet, despite the formidable resistance, his dream endured. His invention, a fully self-powered vehicle, has now received official certification from the Harare Institute of Technology, SETH, alongside verification by independent scientists. This certification marks a momentous turning point, heralding a potential transformation that could reshape transportation, energy consumption, and the global sustainability movement itself. At the heart of this extraordinary development lies the self-powered electric transport harness, or SETH EV, a vehicle that fundamentally defies traditional paradigms. Unlike conventional electric vehicles, which depend on lithium-ion batteries, solar panels, or grid-based charging stations, the SETH EV requires none of these. It is not tethered to fossil fuels, nor does it demand a single recharge from an external power source. Instead, it derives its energy from ambient radio frequencies, an omnipresent but largely untapped source of power that permeates our environment. The concept, once dismissed as an implausible fantasy by many in the scientific community, has now been validated as a viable and functional breakthrough. The very idea of using energy from the atmosphere to independently power a full-sized electric vehicle is no longer science fiction. It is now certified science fact. The journey to this watershed moment, however, has been long and fraught with adversity. From the moment Chikumbutso first articulated his vision of a self-powered car, he was met with laughter, disbelief, and institutional resistance. The scientific establishment, deeply rooted in the dogma of Newtonian and thermodynamic principles, viewed his claims as absurd and even bordering on fraudulent. Experts in the fields of engineering, physics, and energy systems dismissed the notion outright, citing violations of the laws of energy conservation. According to accepted theory, a car that draws power from ambient radio frequencies to move itself was either impossible or, at best, wildly impractical. Yet Chikumbutso remained undeterred. For him, the belief in the feasibility of his invention was not based on wishful thinking but on years of self-directed research, experimentation, and deeply held conviction. He was not simply trying to build a better car, he was attempting to redefine humanity's relationship with energy itself. Working in relative isolation, without the institutional support afforded to most mainstream inventors, Chikumbutso faced not only intellectual opposition, but practical and bureaucratic hurdles as well. Efforts to patent his invention were blocked or delayed under suspicious pretenses, often clouded by accusations of pseudoscience or outright fraud. Industry giants, sensing the disruptive potential of his technology, worked to suppress his claims and discredit his efforts. The forces aligned against him were not just academic but economic and political. Representatives of legacy systems who understood that the widespread adoption of his technology could upend multi-billion-dollar infrastructures and render obsolete the carefully constructed architectures of power, profit, and dependency. But Chikumbutso's resolve only deepened in the face of adversity. With a steadfast belief in his vision and a small circle of dedicated collaborators, he continued refining his prototypes, meticulously iterating on his designs and testing his systems in the face of overwhelming odds. His mission extended beyond personal success. He wanted to democratize energy, to challenge the monopolistic control over power generation and distribution, and to empower communities, particularly in Africa and other underserved regions of the world, by offering a decentralized, self-sustaining solution to transportation and energy needs. After years of relentless struggle, a highly respected mobile phones, Wi-Fi routers, and broadcast antennas are captured and converted into usable electrical energy. While the existence of RF energy is well known and has been studied for decades, its application as a viable energy source for large-scale operations such as automotive propulsion has been considered far-fetched or inefficient. Traditional RF harvesting technologies have been relegated to small-scale uses like powering sensors or low-energy devices. The SETH EV changes this narrative entirely. Utilizing a sophisticated network of antennae, receivers, and energy conversion modules, the vehicle captures RF energy from its surrounding environment. These waves are then processed and convert the vehicle's electric motor. The onboard energy storage system, potentially composed of advanced capacitors or smaller battery units, ensures a stable, continuous supply of power. As long as the car is in an environment with RF energy, which is virtually everywhere in modern urban and even many rural settings, it can function indefinitely without the need for traditional recharging. This makes the SETH EV a true self-sustaining transport mechanism, an autonomous energy ecosystem on wheels. The implications of such a development are staggering. For electric vehicle giants like Tesla, whose business model depends heavily on the infrastructure of charging stations and grid-based power, the SETH EV represents a disruptive challenge. If vehicles no longer require charging infrastructure, Tesla's massive investment in supercharger networks and energy storage techs could be rendered redundant. Likewise, the automotive industry's reliance on lithium, cobalt, and other finite resources for battery production would face obsolescence. In short, the SETH EV threatens to decouple the electric vehicle revolution from the energy grid entirely. The ripple effects extend even further. For the global oil industry, already under pressure from environmental regulations and the push toward decarbonization, the rise of a self-powered vehicle could catalyze an unprecedented collapse in demand. Nations whose economies are built on oil exports may find themselves grappling with economic instability as the relevance of petroleum-based energy declines. Fossil fuel conglomerates, long resistant to renewable alternatives, may find themselves racing to adapt or risk extinction. Beyond industry-specific concern, the self-powered vehicle also offers courage and unshakable belief in the face of systemic resistance. For years, he fought to give form to an idea that